Machiavelli never needed a list of morning rituals. He didn't wear the mask of modern gurus. No ice baths, no meditation mantras, no habit-tracking apps cluttering his day. What he possessed was far more primal, an understanding that focus wasn't a virtue. It was a weapon, a blade honed not for peace but for war. Productivity? That was never the point. Control was. Domination. The ability to bend the world in your direction, not because you asked politely, but because you moved with such clarity that resistance became irrelevant. The average man isn't broken. He's just scattered. His mind isn't slow. It's just leaking, drained by distraction, strangled by choices. His energy is spread thin, and thin things snap. Machiavelli knew the truth. What is dispersed is weak. What is concentrated becomes a force of nature. So the question was never simply how to focus. The question was how to weaponize focus, how to cut through noise without mercy. That weaponization begins with subtraction, not by stacking on tools and tricks, but by carving away the excess. Most people try to focus by adding more calendars, more strategies, more layers. But focus begins not with addition, but with elimination. Machiavelli once said, "A wise ruler must be both a lion and a fox. The lion destroys threats, the fox evades traps." For you, the trap is distraction. The threat is too many options. Your clarity is fogged, not because you're weak, but because you've said yes to everything and committed to nothing. Cut 90% of what you think matters. Reduce your goals until only one remains. Decline requests that come from guilt, not value. Stop spreading yourself across a buffet of mediocrity. Choose one craft, one path, one purpose, and master it so ruthlessly that everything else aligns or vanishes. Because diluted power is not power, it's noise. Machiavelli's law is clear. What you exclude defines you more than what you include. Pick your battlefield, then burn the exits. Transformation is not for dabblers. It is for those who declare war on the mediocre version of themselves and leave no path of retreat. Choose one domain. Build a business that liberates you, a body that commands respect, a mind that intimidates weakness. And once chosen, burn the ships behind you. No fallback, no second thoughts, no plan B. Modern thinkers might call it deep work. Machiavelli would call it psychological territory. You do not merely work, you occupy. You take ground. You become so consistent, so immovable, that your competition doesn't compete. They surrender. You don't become reachable, you become untouchable. There is a silent killer of ambition, more lethal than failure, more subtle than laziness. Its availability, always online, always replying, always present for others, never present for yourself. Machiavelli advised rulers to remain unpredictable, even mysterious. Silence, he said, breeds fear, and fear breeds power. But there was another reason. Silence sharpens focus. Every message you respond to, every call you take, every notification you check is a needle in your mental veins, bleeding you dry. So vanish. Cut 90% of the digital leash. Carve out 3 sacred hours a day where the world cannot find you. Let them wonder. Let them crave your presence. You owe them nothing. You owe yourself everything. You don't need to explain your silence. Your results will speak louder than your replies. Focus, real focus, grows under fire. Pressure isn't the enemy, it's the catalyst. Machiavelli believed necessity drove action. Not motivation, not inspiration. Necessity. And necessity can be manufactured. Set impossible deadlines, remove the safety net. Say what you will do, loudly, to others. Now your reputation is at stake. Bet money, bet status, bet your name. The more you risk, the sharper your mind becomes. Fear focuses. Pressure purifies. Fire forges. Waiting for the right moment is suicide. There is no right mood, no perfect vibe. You create the storm. You force your mind to move. Control, not balance. Balance is comfort's excuse. It's a soft word to defend half effort. Machiavelli didn't praise balance. He glorified control, the brutal, unyielding ability to bend reality with your will. So wake up and stop asking what feels balanced. Ask instead, what action gives me maximum control today? That might mean working while others sleep. It might mean disappearing from social scenes. It might mean living like a soldier because your mission demands it. Comfort is a cage. Control is the key. Focus is violence, a knife against distraction. It's not a gentle state of clarity. It's war against your impulses. It's executing the urge to check your phone. It's beheading the need to scroll. Machiavelli advised cruelty when necessary. But once chosen, be decisive. The same rule applies here. Don't negotiate with distraction. Don't tame it. Kill it. Uninstall the app. Block the site. Remove the excuse. You don't defeat distraction with clever hacks. You defeat it with force. Design your day like a dictator designs a kingdom. Tourists wander. Tyrants plan. Most people wake up reacting, hoping, drifting. But you build a state. Every hour obeys your will. Every task serves the empire you're constructing. That doesn't mean joyless routines. It means sovereignty. The powerful don't beg for time. They command it. Every moment is an investment. Every minute, an asset. You are no longer focusing for peace. You are focusing for power. This is how gods are built. In silence, in intensity, in isolation. While others scroll and chatter, you construct. Quietly, sharply, violently. And by the time they notice, it's too late. They'll ask how you did it. You won't explain. You were never concentrating. You were conquering. Focus, in its highest form, isn't about breathwork and ambient playlists. It's about war. It's about conquest. Not of others, but of self. Your mind, your surroundings, your time. Machiavelli's kind of focus was command, mental monarchy, a kingdom where every thought obeys or gets crushed. No rogue impulses, no stray ideas, just purpose and precision. You're not just building habits, you're constructing a fortress. Inside it, only the necessary survives. Purpose, precision. Everything else dies at the gate. Guard your mind like a throne. Machiavelli warned rulers, threats don't come from outside. They rise from within. Betrayal, weakness, laziness. In your life, the same rule applies. The greatest enemy of focus is not the world. It's the whisper in your own head, the lazy voice, the anxious voice, the one addicted to attention, to comfort. You must rule over those voices like a tyrant rules over conspirators. Identify them, crush them. When your mind drifts, drag it back. Punish the drift. Reward the discipline. Train your mind like a dog trained to guard royalty. And remember this, your attention is your crown. Drop it even for a second, and someone else wears it. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every task is worth mastering. Machiavelli knew the secret of leverage. In power, 10% of your actions drive 90% of your results. So focus, if it is to become lethal, must be selective. Ruthlessly selective. You must learn to see through the chaos and identify the leverage point, the one domino that knocks down 100. If you're building a business, is it your outreach or your offer? If you're sculpting your body, is it intensity or recovery? If you're building influence, is it your presence or your persuasion? Choose the one, then obsess. One focused strike from a sniper shatters more than 1,000 wild punches. Precision over volume. Machiavelli built kingdoms with precision. So must you. Don't try to do more. Do what matters. Dominate that. Train your mind like a spy, observant, silent, strategic. Watch every mental movement. See where your focus collapses. When does your mind betray you? What patterns destroy your best hours? What triggers the fall? This isn't mindfulness. This is tactical surveillance. Spy on yourself like you're planning a takeover, because you are. The distracted man never sees the trap. The focused man sets it. Study yourself until your mind becomes a blueprint. Then adjust with no emotion. Cold, efficient, like a general preparing an invasion. When you catch your drift, you don't feel guilty. You recalibrate. You tighten the system. You cut the slack. Every session of deep work must begin not with warming up, but with a ritual of war. Your desk is not a workstation. It's a battlefield. Your first move is not passive. It's an act of aggression against inertia. Create the conditions that demand intensity. A space. A sound. A sentence you write every time. Something that snaps your brain into build mode. This is not superstition. It is psychological warfare. Your ritual tells your mind, now we attack. No warm-up jog. No soft entry. A warrior doesn't stretch before the fight. He draws the sword. You do the same. Assume the mask of focus. At first, it's an act. Good. Pretend like you're a killer on a mission. Speak less. Move with intent. Dress like time matters. Show up like your name is already etched in history. Machiavelli didn't believe in pretending for show. He believed in pretending until the mask becomes your skin. If you act like the most focused man in the room long enough, your mind will obey. And soon, the room will notice. That man is building something. That man doesn't waste energy. That man is dangerous. Use solitude like a sword. Isolation is not exile, it's evolution. Machiavelli wrote, "The prince not in a palace, but in exile." Tortured, betrayed, cast out, he retreated, sharpened, wrote, and changed the world. Not because he had peace, but because he had silence. Noise is the enemy of insight. Most men fear solitude because it exposes the truth. They're scattered, addicted, unfocused. You must run toward it, engineer it, disappear for days, cut the feedback loop, turn down the volume. Let your mind detox. It will scream, it will itch. That's withdrawal. That's how you know it's working. When it stops, you'll see the world not as a prisoner, but as a strategist. The board, the pieces, the game. Focus requires hierarchy. Not everything is equal. Not every thought deserves a voice. Not every goal earns a place on your list. Build a mental chain of command. Mission-critical actions get done daily, no matter what. Maintenance tasks support them. Everything else, irrelevant. Forbidden. Burn it. Obedience to this hierarchy sharpens you. Every time you break it, you dull the blade. Power doesn't come from working hard. It comes from knowing exactly where to aim and refusing to look away. Decide what matters. Burn what doesn't. Most men dilute their life across dozens of half-hearted efforts. You concentrate. You become a fortress. Collapse time. That's the next move. Do in 1 hour what takes others a day. Machiavelli wasn't efficient. He was surgical. When he struck, it was total. You must do the same. Don't try to work longer. Work sharper. Sprint, then retreat. Attack, then recover. Ask if I had just 1 hour to move the needle. What would I do? Then do only that. That's how you compress time. That's how empires are built while others are still checking notifications. Focus is not about doing more. It's about deciding better. You know now what Machiavelli would demand. Cut the noise, build the ritual, eliminate the drift, own your day like a tyrant. But this is just the frame. Now comes the target, because without knowing what to focus on, even the sharpest sword swings blindly. This is where most men fail. They can focus, but they're aiming at dust. They chase tasks that don't scale, goals that don't matter, victories that don't last. All the while their throne of potential sits empty. Machiavelli didn't just teach concentration. He taught political targeting, strategic vision. He taught rulers to strike where the power flows, not where the noise is loudest. The same applies to you. Don't focus where it's popular. Focus where it counts. The key players, the leverage points. In your life, that means skills that open doors, people that open networks, platforms that multiply your message. Not all inputs are equal. Some move the system, find those, then go all in. 1,000 tasks won't equal one precise strike at the right node. Most men are lost in consumption. Junk food for the mind. Endless scrolling. Aimless clicking. Digital junk calories. Machiavelli warned, men are driven by 2 things, fear and appetite. And modern men are drowning in appetite. Their attention span devoured by the need for stimulation. You cannot focus like a strategist if you consume like a victim. Change the intake. Read not for comfort, but for weapons. Watch not to relax, but to decode. Listen not for pleasure, but for insight. Treat information like ammunition. If it doesn't sharpen you, it weakens you. Your energy changes when your inputs change. You stop craving escape. You start craving execution. The itch to consume becomes the fuel to create. Most people wait for motivation. You create it by upgrading your environment, your inputs, your fuel. Machiavelli didn't theorize from safety. He tested, he experimented, he failed. He observed human nature in the raw. You must do the same. Ask yourself with cold precision, what time of day do I dominate? What food, what lighting, what sounds, what tools create the deepest zone? Build it. Then double down. Track everything. Test everything. Cut what fails. Amplify what works. Most men try to focus like it's luck. You engineer it. You make it repeatable, reliable, deadly. At the center of every empire is not randomness. It's obsession. A single mission so dominant, it organizes every cell of action around it. Machiavelli told rulers to chase glory, not for vanity, but for clarity. A mission filters noise, it burns distraction. You need the same, not a weak goal, a mission. Build the most lethal brand in your industry. Become the highest paid weapon in your niche. Create a physique that speaks before you open your mouth. Whatever it is, make it sharp, make it dangerous. Once you have it, decisions become binary. Every action serves the mission or dies. This is how you stop managing your focus. You build a life where focus becomes your only option. But no fortress stands without guarding against the enemy within. And Machiavelli's darkest truth is this: the man who defeats others, but not himself, remains a slave. You can cut the apps, block the sites, lock your schedule, but if inside you still carry doubt, guilt, hesitation, then focus leaks like a cracked dam. The inner saboteur is clever. It sounds like your friend. It says rest. It says balance. It says don't be so extreme. But Machiavelli knew. No man ever rose by being reasonable. When the inner voice whispers limits, don't negotiate. Exile it. Kill it. Let your ambition scream louder than your fear. The world will not hand you the throne. You will have to take it. Build layers of protection. External structures that preserve internal focus. Because even the most disciplined mind cracks when surrounded by chaos. Not from weakness, but from entropy. Machiavelli advised rulers to fortify their cities before war broke out. You must do the same. Your calendar must have lockdown hours. Your environment must scream intensity. Your workspace must be a temple, not a lounge. These are not cute habits. These are psychological barricades. When the world starts knocking, your focus must not flinch. You don't need willpower when your environment has already made the decision for you. Build systems that protect you from yourself. Make boredom your ally. The stillness most men run from is your secret weapon. Because true focus is not always attack. Sometimes it's endurance. And boredom is the enemy of endurance, unless you tame it. Machiavelli spent hours in silence, thinking, planning, writing letters in exile. No music, no stimulation, just thoughts sharpening against time. Practice it. Sit with a blank page. No phone, no distraction. Let your brain sweat. Think only about your next move for 20 minutes. It will feel like withdrawal. That's good. You're detoxing. And once you master stillness, you gain total psychological control. Because the man who can sit with silence can command storms. Make your life a feedback loop. Machiavelli didn't act blindly. He adjusted. He watched reactions. He recalibrated his moves based on outcomes. You must treat your focus the same. After every deep work session, ask, what drained me? What fueled me? After each day, assess, where did I lose momentum? Where did I gain it? This is not judgment. It's optimization. Most men treat focus like brute force. You treat it like evolving software, upgraded, retested, reapplied. You don't chase perfection. You engineer progress. And above all, you don't just use focus, you become it. Machiavelli would say, power belongs not to those who act focused, but to those who are focus incarnate. Your posture, your pace, your eyes, your presence. It all becomes one clear signal. I know what I want, and I am going to take it. When focus becomes your identity, you no longer fight to maintain it. It flows through you. It sharpens everything. You no longer apologize for your intensity. You wear it like armor. And now there is only one layer left: emotional control. Because even with all the rituals, systems, and precision, if your emotions own you, focus dies. The world will bait you with noise, with chaos, with doubt. It will pull you into conflict, flattery, outrage, panic, and you'll lose the rhythm you bled to build. Focus under fire. That is the final test. Anyone can concentrate when the lights are low and the playlist is right. But that's not the battlefield. That's rehearsal. Real focus is forged in chaos, when people are panicking, deadlines exploding, betrayal in the air, and you still move like a machine. Machiavelli didn't admire the calm monk. He admired the cold strategist, the one who stayed composed while others crumbled, the one who manipulated from the shadows, struck when others were still reacting. You must become that, unshaken, surgical, ruthless when necessary. Train emotional immunity. Stay cold while they burn. This isn't about suppressing humanity. It's about controlling the wheel. The man who can't delay a reaction, who flinches at criticism, who collapses from a single bad day. That man cannot hold the throne. So when you feel the spark, envy, anger, fear, pause. Label it. That's doubt. That's pride. That's shame. Now dismiss it. Not like a wounded child, but like a king addressing noise. Because your mission is royalty. And royalty doesn't argue with peasants. Let others drown in feelings. You rise in stillness. Use your attention like currency. Machiavelli understood this better than most. The prince who is too accessible is seen as weak. The one who shows up rarely, but decisively, commands loyalty. Your attention is the same. When you give it freely to drama, to petty conflict, to meaningless media, you spend power. So become a king of your minutes. Invest in high-leverage conversations. Spend time only where the return is exponential. Let your calendar mirror your vision. Not what's urgent, what's transformational. That's how you stop being busy and become legendary. You don't manage time. You allocate attention like you distribute gold. Weaponize your focus. Let it become a signal, a statement, a silent display of strength. Watch what happens when you hold eye contact while others flinch. When you remain silent while others over-explain. When you keep working while they gossip. They begin to whisper, "He's not like us. He's building something." I don't know what, but it's massive. Focus creates mystery. Mystery creates status. Status builds desire. Let your restraint speak louder than noise. Let people project greatness onto your stillness. While they scramble for validation, you build an empire no one sees, until it swallows everything. Detox from weak associations. The focus leech effect is real. You can be disciplined, sharp, ruthless, but spend enough time around the unfocused, and their chaos infects your rhythm. Machiavelli warned rulers. Poor advisors destroy great rulers. In your life, poor company destroys great focus. Cut them, even if they're charming, even if they mean well. If they break your rhythm, they are not neutral. They are sabotage. You don't need cheerleaders. You need assassins. Friends who sharpen you in silence. Mentors who demand excellence. Allies who vanish into the shadows with you and emerge holding victory. And now, the trap. One of Machiavelli's favorite strategies. You will use it on yourself. The trap of public commitment. Declare your mission. Out loud. Set a countdown. Post a date. Tell the world what you're building. Why? Because now your reputation is at stake. Now your pride is the cost of failure. Focus isn't optional. It's survival. Powerful men stay locked in because they burn the escape routes. There is no way back. The only direction is forward. Declare the goal, trap yourself inside it, then fight like your name depends on it, because it does. Build a system of silence. Machiavelli's most dangerous influence came not from what he said, but from what he didn't. You must build the same aura. No updates, no commentary, no live reports of your progress. Just results. Just transformation. Let your execution be the noise. Let your silence be the threat. While others shout, you vanish into the dark. And when you return, what you've built will be undeniable. Make failure part of the system. You will break focus. You will spiral. You will crash. That's not a sign of weakness. That's the rhythm of progress. But remember the rule. Never miss twice. One bad hour, recover. One wasted day, reset. One distracted week, cut the pattern. You do not mourn failure. You recycle it. The man who fails and recalibrates in hours instead of weeks, that man is not stoppable. He's ascending. Maintain the eagle view. Never forget the grand strategy. Machiavelli warned against short-sighted rulers. You must do the same. While others obsess over minor setbacks, you're already plotting 3 moves ahead. You are not here to win the skirmish. You are here to conquer the map. Focus must extend beyond the task. See the system. Study the pattern. Ask, what empire am I building? Because when you zoom out, when you truly see the battlefield, your priorities rearrange themselves. Your focus sharpens not just in intensity, but in direction. You stop reacting. You start positioning. This is the final form of focus. Not just narrowing in, but aiming true. Knowing when to act, where to strike, what to ignore, what to dominate. You're no longer practicing focus, you are executing psychological warfare. Focus is no longer a tool, it's a crown. A mask you wear until it fuses with your skin. A blade you wield until it bends time and energy to your rhythm. You are not a man trying to stay disciplined. You are a sovereign, a strategist, a phantom prince building in silence. And when you strike, the world will not understand how, only that it happened, and they were too late to stop it.